Hey, everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the BigMan Weekend Pro happening Sunday in Alicante, Spain. Joining me, the man who knows everything about every competitor outside the USA, because you guys have pointed out many times I'm ignorant, Giles Tiger Thomas. What's up, Giles?
Yeah, I'm tired, mate, but I'm enjoying the adventures I've had the last couple of weeks. I got to Romania and I did the live stream with Lauren, chilling with Jake Wood and Alina Pulper, and we'd having. It's just been, because the thing is, I didn't get to go to the Olympia. I didn't get to go to the Arnold because of the travel restrictions. So this was kind of this last couple of weeks has been a bit of a big deal for me because, you know, I miss seeing people face to face, and I miss being at these events and, you know, being involved and making my contribution. And it's just so good to be. And the Romania was such a good show. And of course, Lauren's already out in Alicante with Ashley Kaltwasser, because obviously we're doing the Olympia All-Star Tour. We did the UK, now they're in Spain. They've been doing shoots and all sorts. So I'm flying out on Friday. Lauren's actually from Buff Bombshell. She's competing on the Saturday in the amateur. And Ashley's going to be cheering her on and help. And she's also going to be wearing Ashley's bikini she wore at the Olympia.
What?
Yeah. And then obviously Ashley is going to be doing going for win 31 in the bikini on Sunday. So I've just, because at the end of the day, the three of them, they've got an apartment because they've got Cara, I forget last name, Cara the Yogi from Angel Competition Bikini, so they'd all been chilling together, and I thought they don't want me there, so I just hung back in the UK and you know, and did some work, and so yeah, it's been amazing, mate, and it's just like I said, it's so good. I'm so excited to be going again this weekend because I had such a good experience when I went to the NPC European run by Emilio Martinez in the summer. I can't wait to get back out to Alicante, so yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend big time.
I gotta say, up until like last year, I don't think I'd ever heard of Alicante, but good Lord, there's like a solid. Is this the third pro show there this year? Second or third?
Second. Yeah. I know. I think they've had a load of qualifiers. I know Emilio's got 22 shows next year.
Good Lord. Anyway, well, this is the contest season. It's the longest contest season in recorded history, as you know. This is almost the end. We got one more a week later in Toronto, the Toronto Pro. But this is a decent show too. Let's get into it. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I don't know if you'll agree with it or not. But history was made at the Legion Sports last month when Sean Clarita, as a 212 champion, beat guys who are 100 pounds heavier than him. This time we have another situation where we have Angel Calderon, one of the best 212s around. He was fourth place at Olympia. He won the Romania. Didn't he win? Did he go into the Olympia with 4 wins from this season?
4.
Wow, 4 wins. Wow. So he's one of the best 212s. So he's probably around 212 pounds, you'd say?
Yeah. Oh, he must be like literally. I think he was 211. I asked Emilio the other week at the after party.
So I see this coming down to Angel, 212 pounds, and the big man from France, Morgan Ast, at 312 pounds. Actually, he might be more than that. Yeah. So that's going to be a hell of a pose down. I'm looking at the list. Not familiar with a ton of the names. Open is not as big as 212. I think Angel's got a really good chance to be the next giant killer, the European giant killer, if you will. What do you think? Does he have a chance?
Do you know why he's doing the Open?
No idea, because he's won everything else in the 212.
No, he's on the same team for I forget some sort of team with Ole Crivier. So Ole Crivier hasn't qualified for next year's Olympia, so they decided Angel will do the Alicante show because apparently after the Olympia, Angel came. This is what Emilio told me at the after party. He said came off his diet. He was off his prep, and then I forget the reason why, but for 2 weeks out, he decided to do Romania. So he pulled that together in 2 weeks after completely coming off his diet, not training, and he looked sensational. I mean, he looked incredible. So that was that's the reason why he's doing Open, and also I think it has to play a part with Sean Clarita winning the Open. It has to. In fact, I've just wrote my column, MD Global Muscle Buzz, for next month. And I've said in there, I've already said, look, at the time of writing, I said, Angel is yet to do the show, but I think he will win. I'm saying he will win. So in a few weeks' time, when it comes out, you can see what I wrote before the show, because I'm that confident he is going to win this. But I think he'll look even better. The thing is, it stands to reason. He will look better here than he did in Romania because he's got more time to prep, you know? So, I mean, he looked as good as he's ever looked at Romania. So, I mean, and apparently the reason he wants to do this, he doesn't want to, because he proposed to his wife on stage to be.
That's right. Which show was that? He wasn't competing at that show, was he? Oh, when he won, because he won Romania. So is it after he won he proposed?
No, after he won, he got on stage and they had this music, and it was like everyone was just going crazy. It was absolutely fantastic. And then he said, Emilio told me that he wants to get married in March, April, and he doesn't want to be dieting and prepping. So that's why he jumped into Romania, because he wants to get out. Thing is, he's obviously assuming she's going to say yes as well.
Yeah,
So he's doing that. So he wants to do this. He wants to. Thing is, it stands to reason. Like if he wins this,
Yeah.
I mean, how does it work now with, like, say, Sean Clarida and Angel? How does it work having dual qualification? Because surely you have to do one or the other. Because remember back in the start, remember Dave Henry, and they could do two. They could do both in the same show.
Right.
But then they changed it to say, look, if you do one, you like Dave Henry, the year he won the 202 Olympia in 2008. He also did the Open and got like 13th or something.
I think he was top 10. I think he was top 10.
Oh, was he? And then if you
Yeah.
get double qualification now, what does that mean?
I thought somebody had actually pinned Dan Solomon down for an answer on that, and he said they had to choose one or the other.
Well,
Can't compete in both. I mean, I get that. That makes sense to me. But it would be, in a perfect world, they'd be allowed to do both. That'd be very exciting. But yeah, I mean,
but it also really adds a lot of credibility to the Open if now the 212s are going in and winning Open, because it's always seen as like a bit of a secondary class to the Open. But now you've got guys like Sean Clarida going and beating Regan at 174 pounds, beating Regan Grimes, beating Sergio Oliva. So it'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see what they do next year. I mean, I would imagine Sean Clarida and Engel will be in the 212 next year. But it's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them just said, right, I'm going to go do the Open, and sensational news.
well, I would, if I were Angel, I would just do the Open Olympia if I win this, just because I don't see him beating Sean Clarida or Derek Lunsford to win the 212 Olympia. I just don't. They're at a little slightly higher level, I believe, than him. But why not jump into the Olympia and say, well, I got to stand next to Brandon Curry and Rami and Hadi, and I don't think he's obviously not going to win the Open Olympia, but he'd get a chance to be in the mix and say, I was on the Mr. Olympia stage, which none of these 212 guys can really say, because there's only one Mr. Olympia, the Open Olympia.
So what would you say is better? Say, for example, if you got fourth in the 212, or say eighth or ninth in the Open, which do you think is preferable?
Eighth or ninth in the Open.
Okay.
It's probably twice as much. It's probably as much money, if not more. Anyway, it's probably not about money, but still, to say you were top 10 in the Mr. Olympia, that's something most bodybuilders dream of and never ever come anywhere near.
Plus, if Angel really struggles to make 212, imagine if he said, right, okay, then I might just go and do the Open and come in at maybe he looks his best at 218 or 220, and maybe he just wants to bring his best physique to the stage, because he is. I mean, I saw him outside at the Romania, the show. I was talking to Rulian, and he's really short. He's really short, but he's kind of as wide as he is tall. He's very square, So, but I have heard that he kind of he's right on the limit of 212. So it'd be interesting maybe if he thought, okay, I'll come in at 218, like Derek Lunsford. I mean, I know he's got the title, but we know that Derek Lunsford and guys like Flex Lewis don't look their best at 212. They probably look their best maybe slightly heavier.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're all still waiting on Flex. This is many years, but we'll see that. But back to the Open in this show, the BigMan Pro, I've already heard some whispers. People say, well, this is an easy Olympia qualification for Morgan Ast. I don't know if it's easy, because Angel's tough. He's, 2 feet shorter than Morgan, but, structure and things like that, he has advantages. But Morgan's got so much size. He gets in a crazy condition. Do you think he could pull this off? Could this be his first pro win?
No, you got last call out in Romania, mate.
Yeah.
I was gutted. I was really gutted, because you know what Morgan brings? He brings such incredible condition. And he was, I thought maybe second call out, third at an absolute push. But when he got fourth call out, he didn't get top 15 at the Romania show. And I was really shocked. His condition's sensational. He's huge. I know he hasn't got the best structure, but I thought fourth call out was bloody harsh. I felt like really bad for him. I think there was guys that weren't as good as him that were way ahead of him, and I felt really bad for him. So I would just love to see him get first call out here. I'd love to see him get like a third or a fourth place, just so he can then shut it down and at least say, okay, that prep wasn't a complete waste of time, because he's had top 10s at the New York Pro. Was he 8th or 9th at New York Pro?
Yeah, he was top 10.
Indy?
He was top 10 in the Indy. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously just a structure issue, which unfortunately you're born with your bone structure, and that's that. You can't change it, but he's done everything possible you could do with what he was given. ungodly amount of muscle condition. We still talk about the Arnold Classic was it 2020?
Yeah.
2020. I
Yeah.
can't even keep track of these years anymore. Yeah, that was some of the craziest condition I've ever seen in my life on a stage. Moving on, another guy who's doing very well, I believe, isn't he only 22 years old? Is Amir Omiraigac from Germany? Very young guy. Yeah, isn't so young? Yeah. I think you were the one who told me he's only 22. So he was 4th in Romania, 7th in Prague, but coming on strong, especially for such a young guy. You know, this is a pretty good accomplishment for him to be in the mix with some of these veterans. Like I'm sure Angel's been training probably as long as he's been alive or close to it. So yeah, Emmer, that's a first call out guy. I'm sure of that.
I spoke to Chris Aceto and he said, we're going to go get a win and shut it down for the Olympia next year. It's going to happen. He said, no, 100% this is going to happen. I mean, I'm guessing maybe he's not that familiar with Angel Calderon physique, but I mean, Amir could win this. He could actually win this. I mean, he's stronger from the back than he is from the front. I mean, his readable bicep. I mean, check out the pictures of his readable bicep. I mean, he's top to toe. I mean, it was freaky, like shocking. Great back shots, good side shots. The front shots, you know, he's like a work in progress. A couple more years and he'll be really, really amazing from the front. But, you know, more complete and more balanced. But for 22, I was so impressed because I saw him in Romania. I was coming out the toilets and there was a backstage area. And he was just pumping up. And I couldn't believe the amount of muscle this kid has. I mean, technically, he is still a junior.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he did, because he looked really good, much better than he did from Egypt to Romania. He looked a lot better in Romania, and he took a solid 4th place, and I agreed with it, and I thought it was a very fair placing. But there's a guy that could give Angel Calderon some problems. I mean, I think he's top 2 material. I wouldn't be shocked if he won it. I think Angel's more complete if they judge it properly, which I'm sure they will. But yeah, there's a guy that I think he's going to be a lock for top 2.
Fair enough. Okay, a couple other guys. We got Jan Turek. I can't remember where's Jan from.
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Yeah, that's a top 5, top 6 guy consistently in a lot of these shows lately. So I expect him to be first call out. Probably, you know, someone who gets moved to the side maybe, but still in the running up there with Angel and Amir. Maybe even who knows how well he could do, because some of these people do get better and better as the shows go by, and a lot of these names on these lists, they've been doing show after show after show since the Olympia. Yeah. Sorry,
also misspoke on the. I said Amir got 7th in Egypt. It wasn't. It was
Prague.
Prague. So yeah, Prague. So it's so many shows. I'm losing, and it just popped into my head there. But Jan Turek was 6th in Prague. He was. So that was a really good placing. He actually beat Amir in Prague.
Oh.
So, but then in Romania, he dropped to about 13th place, I think it was. So he was completely, you know, he looked as good to me as he did at Prague, but he dropped out of the top 10 the other week. So, but obviously this isn't as strong a lineup, so I would think he'd be top 5. But nice balanced symmetrical physique. He looked really good. He's got one of those kind of frames in a couple of years. If he fills it out, he's going to be quite dangerous, but he's very balanced, very symmetrical. But yeah, he's really good. And yeah, let's see if he can look as good as he did at Prague.
Last but not least, from Italy, I recognize this name more so as a promoter the last few years than a competitor. It's Gianrico Pica. I do remember him competing, but it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember photographing Gianrico when he was competing against Ronnie Coleman, Dexter Jackson, back in literally about 20 years ago. You're talking about 2002. I've got 2002 in my head.
Wow.
Yes, this is the promoter of the San Marino show. This is the one, and I think he stepped back from promoting now. A lady who works for him, Barbara Bagnuolo, is now taking over the IFBB Pro Italy side, the NPC and everything. So he's obviously just gone back to what he loves, and he's gone back to competing. I mean, he must be. He's good friends with Dennis James. I mean, he must be. I mean, he's a big guy.
He's got to be 50. He's got to be at least 50, I'm guessing, to be able to compete with the people you were just talking about.
Yeah, but as we've seen with guys like Rusty Jeffers in the Masters at the Legion Sport, I mean, these guys can come back and look their best ever. So sometimes you go in and think, okay, well, he's not even look as good as he did 20 years ago. Yeah. And then you see guys like Rusty Jeffers come back better than they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. It just depends on what he's been doing in the last 20 years. Right. So, yeah, Emilio told me he was at the after party. He told me, he says, Gianrico's competing. I went, no way. I said, that's so cool. So, Yeah, like I said, I remember photographing Gianrico nearly 20 years ago. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he looks on stage.
Yeah, good for him, dude. I mean, he's got to be at least probably about as old as me, John Rico. So God bless your soul. Here we go.
No one's that old.
Huh? No, I say that, but I've actually met people older than me, if you can believe it.
No.
212 division. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here by saying the favorite to win this is from the Ukraine, Ole Curvy, second in Prague. A very, very, I don't like to say controversial because it could have gone either way, but a lot of people had him beating Kuwait's Ahmad Ashkanani in Prague. I know Ahmad came back looking way better at the finals, but Ole, the muscle quality on this gentleman, the detail, the striations, it's mind-boggling. And he has plenty of size, not missing any body parts. I don't think he's won anything, and I'm predicting this is probably going to be his first pro win. Maybe he has won.
I'm sure he has won shows. I'm sure he has. But Ole was top 6 in the Olympia last year in the 212. He was 6th place. Angel was 7th. And Ahmad Ashkanani was like 4th or 5th. He was 5th, wasn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So Ole Krivia, when you posted about him and he got a crazy response. I mean, I love this guy's physique. I mean, he's one of these guys that even in the off season looks harder than some guys when they're on stage. Yeah. But he's like kind of like in the respect of Hadi, where they've got that amount of thick muscle, but it's all striated, it's all detailed. There's no blurriness, you know. It's kind of physique that pops whenever. And thing is, I really like his physique because almost as much as Angel's, but in a different respect, that he's got a very small waist. He's got a lovely X frame. And I was really shocked when he didn't win Prague. So, and I like the fact that Angel's doing the Open to let him have a win, you know, so he's not taking that qualification spot away from him. So, I mean, I would say I can't see that he would do anything to have this win taken away from him unless one of these guys brings something that they've not previously brought. So I'm a huge fan of Ole. I think he's a lock for the win and the qualification.
My prediction for runner-up, if I know we don't usually do runner-up predictions, but Germany's Steve Benton's been very consistent this year. 6th in Prague, 4th at the Europa Pro in Alicante a couple months ago, and 2nd at another big man show that they had in Portugal a few months ago. There's a lot of big man shows, but Steve Benton, man, you know, not the most massive guy, but very aesthetic, very small waist and condition. He brings it pretty much every time that I've ever seen him. So I have him as a lock for second behind Ole.
Do you?
I do.
Okay, well, Steve Benton, I mean, I like his physique. Like you said, he's not as thick as big as the other guys, but he's very detailed, very striated. But I'll tell you one thing I have noticed, the last couple of shows he's done, he's had a lot of stomach distension, and it's lower ab distension. And for me, I think that's why they've marked him down, because normally he's always up in the top 3. He did the NPC European in August. But I've noticed this distension, and I think he needs to address that. Otherwise, he won't get second, mate. I'm telling you that now.
Steve, if you're listening, try eliminating gluten. You probably have a bloat from gluten. Go gluten-free, Steve. Yeah.
Get a weight trainer.
I don't know. I'm not really sold on the whole weight. Don't get mad, people, but I'm not really sold on the waist trainer thing. Another guy who's very, very consistent this season. He's done a lot of shows. Nasser Mohammed from Kuwait at the Olympia, 7th place, 5th place at the Europa Pro in Alicante earlier this season, 5th place in Romania, and 5th place in the other big man show they had in Portugal. So this guy's coming on strong as a 212, because prior to this year, I don't think I've ever heard of Nasser Mohammed. Well,
I think the highlight of his contest history this year has been 7th at Olympia.
Yeah.
7th at Olympia. So if you're top 10 at Olympia and you're coming to a show, this is a guy I've got as a lock for second. And I saw him in Romania and he looked really, really good, but you could tell that he just needed a couple more weeks to get nice and crispy. So if he's done the work and he's tightened it up like he was at the Olympia, there's a guy that I think he'll push Ole actually. I think he'll beat Steve Benton. I think he's he's had a couple of weeks there to really tighten up, and I think he'll pull ahead of Steve.
I'd like to change my answer on the runner-up then. Could I do that? No, it's too late.
Go on then.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, I definitely see Nasser now as being ahead of Steve, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, here's a name. I love challenging myself with some of these names. So Abdul Rahman Al-Kashti, who was 4th in Prague and 7th in Romania. Again, never heard of this guy before this season, but you know, this has been, I think all these post Olympia shows, especially most of them being in Europe, and well, Egypt isn't Europe, obviously, but being outside the USA, they're really giving a chance to showcase a lot of these athletes who I don't think would have had the opportunity to get the type of exposure and recognition that they're putting themselves on the map now. Like, again, like Nasser Muhammad, I kind of knew who he was from Olympia, but when they do all these post-Olympia shows, several of them, you can't ignore them anymore. And this guy's pretty good. I mean, I was impressed with him in the live streams that I saw.
Was it third he got at Prague?
Fourth.
Oh, fourth, right? Yeah. So I was impressed because I'd never seen him before either, and he's got a really. He reminds me of that Derek Osland, the X-frame.
Oh yeah,
Weapon He's got that. If you look at his small waist, he's got a very. If you squint, it got a very similar kind of structure. He's like it's a very pleasing looking physique, and I'm guessing he's quite under 212. So here's a guy that if he's around, if he's got like 10 pound or something to play with before he hits the 212 limit, this guy could be really dangerous in a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to seeing him again as well on stage. Like I said, his condition wasn't like amazing in the last couple of shows. So if he's tightened up, there's another guy that could really battle for top 3.
Okay. And I believe this gentleman is originally from the UK, but don't you have a lot of people that are living in United Arab Emirates from the UK?
Yeah, they're all leaving.
Jamie Dorigo. Jamie, a renowned coach too, but I've seen a lot of pictures of him. I've never seen him compete in person, I don't think, but very, very pleasing physique. Was he classic before, or was he men's physique before? Or has he always been 212?
He's always been 212. I remember he won the Flex Lewis Classic as a junior years ago in Cardiff. It was in Cardiff, it was. Okay. And he's probably only late 20s.
Oh, wow.
I think Lauren sent him a picture or something and he said, I'm very flat. I didn't think he was flat at Romania. He just lacked a bit of detail, which maybe a couple of weeks extra hard dieting could really bring in. He's very thick, very round, nice physique. But he needed to like a little bit sharper from the back, get some more detail. But in 2 weeks, you've seen what Phil Clayhar and all these other guys have done in a couple of weeks. If he's really knuckled down and really suffered this last couple of weeks, I mean, because he's had some not very good placings, in the last few shows he's done. But he's actually, the physique he's got, he's capable of a top 5 at a show like this, 100%. But he's got to be sharper and more detailed.
Gotcha. Another Brit, Paul Latham. Tell me about Paul.
I don't really know much about Paul. I mean, I know he turned pro, was it last year at one of the Two Bros? And I saw a picture he posted today, and honestly, he needs to go to the doctor with that death face. Because he is so, I mean, it's like proper like 92 Dorian, with the light, the mat, you could light a match on his cheekbones. Yeah. I mean, he looks really, I mean, he's going to be absolutely shredded beyond belief. But I've never seen him in the flesh on stage yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. But me, I love conditioning, and I'd be very surprised if this guy is absolutely not one of the most conditioned guys in the entire contest. So, but like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing him in the flesh and seeing how he stacks up against the other guys. And the last gentleman we'll speak of in 212 is Daniel Sticco, Sticco. Never heard of him before today. He really impressed me in Romania. He really stood out, and I think he got like 14th. And I was like, hang on a minute, I really like it. He's really short. And he's really he's got a real pop to his physique, incredible arms. And they're real. And yeah. And I really liked his physique. I just thought, and you could see he just, again, like Jamie Dorigo, a couple more weeks and he could be really, he's one that could jump up from like 14th to 3rd or something, so I really want to see him a little bit sharper, because I tell you what, he's got a really neat physique, if that's a phrase. Neat, yeah, but sure. I saw him on Instagram in a few weeks previous to Romania, and I was just like, shit, this guy's got if this translates to the stage, he's going to be a good 212 in years to come. So I just hope he's sharp in Romania, and I hope he gets a fair look here. Women's bodybuilding. She just won the Romania show, and she was top 10 in the Olympia. Nadia Capotosto from Italy. Probably going to win this one again, probably, I'm guessing. I would say so, because I'm not familiar with the other names. So, and she's coming off a win, so she had a lovely physique, beautiful balance, beautiful kind of symmetry, and I think she's a lock for the win, definitely. Okay. Classic physique. This guy's on a roll this year. He has won the BigMan in Portugal this year. He won the Romania Muscle Fest. He won the Egypt show. And in the last show in Alicante, the Europa, he got 3rd place. From Spain, Jose Mete Bueriberi. I'm very familiar with Spanish names, trust me, and I've never seen that Spanish name. Bueriberi. But wow, the shape, the pic, that obviously I've never seen him in person,
but the shape and the structure on this guy from the pictures, he's a lock. He's my favorite for the win. Yeah.
He's incredible. This guy could do 212. He's amazing. Yeah, I think he's going to win. His Instagram handle is Madelman.
Madel?
Madelman, and he's got a huge following, and he's he messaged me on because I DM'd him to come on Global ages ago, and then when I was at Romania, he says, "Sorry, I've just seen this message 6 months later." He says, he said, "Just set up a time. I'd love to come on Global," and I was like, oh, "Okay." So obviously we saw my name maybe during the live stream, or maybe he saw me, and we see people tagging me into things. So yeah, very very good physique. I remember I did the live stream classic at NPC European in August. He got third there. Yeah. And John Citrone did the bodybuilding legend, came in on the live stream for the classic, and he says, no, he says, that guy should have won. That guy should have won. The Jose, he says, the little black guy. That's what he said. But really beautiful physique, really symmetrical, really kind of his back shots are incredible. But there's a guy that could actually switch to 212 and be very, very deadly.
Yeah, it's the classic and 212. They're not that different. Obviously, 212 tends to be more thickly muscled, but there's a lot of people in 212 that could probably drop a little bit and do well in classic and vice versa. But what I always say, if you have awesome genetics with the wide clavicle, you'd be great in any division. It's just a matter of which one you choose and focus on.
Yeah.
So next guy is also from Spain. You don't like to say Jesus. We call him Jesus.
He's so live stream.
Yeah. Because I know it feels kind of awkward saying Jesus when we're not talking about the Jesus. But Jesus Rodriguez Sandra, he was third in Romania, third in Prague. Great contender. I mean, I still have Jose for the win. He's just dominant this season. But Jesus, based on who else is on this list, probably going to give him a good run.
Absolutely. The first time I saw him was when we were we landed to Bucharest airport, and the Spanish team came in at the same time as us, and we were going through the passport thing, and Jesus was there, and he had a t-shirt on, and I was like, look, I said to Lauren, I said, look at the veins on his triceps. I mean, it was so, I tell you what, that level of conditioning, I don't know, he heard me going crazy on the live stream, but I was like, when he hit his back shots, it was just mind-blowing how detailed and how shredded this guy was. And the thing is, the thing I always say with classic is there is no excuse for not being conditioned. If you haven't got good posing, good conditioning, and good symmetry in classic, you shouldn't be in the category. You should go and do your homework and come back, or go and jump into another category, or stick some board shorts on. So, but it's true. But I was so impressed with this guy. He's not quite as pleasing from the front, and quite as wow from the front. But he's really, really impressive, this guy. And he's such an exciting new face to the classic. Good poser as well. And like I said, I'm just, I get excited when the really conditioned guys come out, or women, it's something I like to see. And this guy really is bringing A-class conditioning.
Yeah, well, I'm very much in the same category. When people turn around, a lot of people look really conditioned from the front, and then they turn around and glutes and hams are all buttery soft. Like, oh, come on, dude, come on. I wanted more, I expected more. Last guy we'll talk about in classic. On paper, his name says German, but you say the G is silent. So it's Herman Pastor. He was fourth at the Europa show in Alicante earlier this season. Where is he? Is he Czech? Where's he from?
He's Spanish.
Oh, Spanish. Okay. Yeah, there's been some of these shows, I know I'm going off topic, but I looked at one of these Korea shows this year, the scorecards, and everyone in the entire show was from Korea except for one or two people. There's a lot of Kims and Lees and But so I would expect a lot of Spanish people in a show in Spain. But he's very good. This kid, he's a young guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I first saw him at when I was doing the live stream at the NPC European in August, and he's really impressive. He's big, symmetrical. He'll be a threat 100% in this contest. So, and like I said, he's done a few shows as well, so I like the fact these classic guys are, they're supporting the division, because it's only 5 years old in the pros. 2016 it came at the Olympia. Right. And I like the fact that these guys are doing multiple shows. I think it really, really helps to grow the division. And like I said, really, and this is the lineups are well supported, so it's good to see. And even when guys are winning, like Madelman, Jose, they're winning shows, but they're still doing more shows. You just think, I really respect that.
Yeah, and I mean we've talked to a couple athletes like Ian Valier was a good example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been others. They look at it as the old Milo Sarshev theory. I'm a professional bodybuilder. My job is to compete as a professional bodybuilder. Why would you do one or two shows and then disappear for the rest of the season when there's money to be made? There's fans to meet. There, it just makes sense. If physically you can do it, why not? So I'm glad.
Well,
Like you,
I think the record is Mohamed Elamama. He's done 8 shows this year.
that probably is a record. I mean, I don't know who else. Maybe Shaban has done a few shows too. It's hard to say.
I think
Mustafa Hassan might be right there too.
Hassan's done 7, I believe.
These are all Egyptians, by the way.
Yeah.
They're troopers. In figure, now we're not talking about them because they're the favorites. I don't even know what they look like, but you pointed out that there are identical twins competing in the figure division from Czech Republic. It is Gabriela and Teresa Linhartova. So it's just going to be fun. It'd be hilarious to see. I know this is very silly, but it'd be hilarious for me to see like if they look exactly the same, but one of them places a few spots higher or lower than the other one. Because what would that indicate as far as you're a judge? What do you do if these two people they're like clones of each other, basically?
That's exactly what I said on the live stream in Romania, because one of them came out and the purple, she had the purple bikini on. And I thought, hang on a minute, I've just seen her. I thought, why has she come out again? And then my eyes went slightly left. If you watch the live stream, you can hear my reaction. I go, holy shit. And I looked on the list and I went, hang on a minute. Yeah. They even had the same color purple bikini on. So anyway, I said, so how does this work? I said, how do they work if they've got identical physiques and they maybe train together and they do everything together and they look exactly alike? How does it work when it comes to judging? Do they get joint first? Do they get joint second? So I forget. I can't remember which one came higher. And one got second and one got fourth in Romania.
Oh wow!
But I looked for a difference, and because I was sat like a bit of an angle, we sat right next to the judges at our table, right, literally like with 10 foot from the stage. Yeah. And I said, if you look, the one lady has slightly more going on in her quads. There was a bit more development, a bit more detail, a bit more separation, just going quads. But apart from that, they are the same physique.
Well, I hope that they wear different color suits this time, because they really should have had different color suits. You got to have some kind of, because if they came out in ones, you could at least say, well, I like the one in the green better than the one in the purple. But now they're just confusing people. All right, last thing we'll talk about is history has already been made. Ashley Kaltwasser is the winningest IFBB pro of all time. Prior to that, it was Zexia Jackson with 29 wins. Ashley picked up her 30th win recently. Which show was the 30th at? Romania. So here she is back again. Good Lord, Ashley. Talking about competing and getting more and more wins. She's the poster girl for that. But I don't see who's beating Ashley Kaltwasser. Sorry, girls.
I know. And Lauren, do you know Lauren's been cooking all her food every single day since the show? And Lauren is prepping herself for the amateur on Saturday. So they flew out to Alicante on Monday. I'm flying out on Friday, and then we're all meeting at the hotel. Like she's really stayed on it. So she's going for 31 wins. And also when she goes back, she says, if my body holds up, Giles, she says, I'm going to go drive up. It's only 4 hours from my parents' home in Ohio. And I'm going to go do Toronto. Go for 32 wins. And I said, don't you ever? And she said, Giles, I'm just getting started.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like some of these bodybuilders where you wonder, oh my goodness, can they keep doing? Are they going to tear a pec or something? Bikini is a little more longevity friendly division, I think, than some of these other divisions. So what do you think?
They've been traveling as well. They've been traveling. We've been traveling all over the UK doing seminars and
tell me this, Giles. You've been to these appearances with her, most of them, right? Obviously, except for the ones in Spain. She's got all these fans waiting for her, lines and lines of women, I'm sure, that want to take pictures and tell their life story and how she inspired them and whatnot. Ashley's got to eat at, say, 2:00. She's got a big gaggle of women waiting to meet her. It's 1:59. What do? Do you guys say, hold on, guys, Ashley needs to eat. We're going to shut it down for 10 minutes. That's what I would do.
Well, we've got, say the seminars between 5:30 and 7:30. She just makes sure she eats. And every single one's gone bang on time. And literally when it gets to 7:30, we're like, right, okay, we need to wrap this up. you know, because she's been doing like posing with the ladies. Ladies been coming, sort of getting their bikinis on, and they've been going through. Imagine having like, you know, like say like Ronnie Coleman putting you through your compulsories. That's the equivalent, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, Phil Heath or
Sure.
Rami or whatever. And yeah, it's just she's a trooper. The thing is, she eats the same all year round. She's pretty much just eating chicken and veggies, like literally 4, 5, 6 times a day. It's like chicken and asparagus for breakfast. You know, so she's
no
on
eggs.
it.
Come on.
Mate, she's done 14 shows this year.
Okay, there's the record. Yeah.
And she's won 8.
Wow, I'm surprised she hasn't won all of them. My goodness gracious. But,
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, Lauren must be picking up some good pointers, some things she can apply to her own career, I'm sure. Hanging out with,
she's gonna wear Ashley's Olympia bikini at her show on Saturday. So they put it on and it fits. And did you see Lauren outside Buckingham Palace the other day?
Now, where were those guys, the guards? Well, you'd think the guards would have come up, right? The guys with the big hats and the rifles. I think they would have put a stop to all that nonsense. You know, of course, we don't want, if I see a girl in a bikini and heels, I don't want anyone stopping her from doing whatever she's going to do. But yeah, I actually talked about that with what James Holling said. He was saying, where were the soldiers? Where are the guards? Because that's their job, is they guard the front of Buckingham Palace, right? Yeah.
Well, it's all about making memories, mate, isn't it? You know.
Oh, it was, dude. If I was her, I would have done that too. I mean, when do you get the chance to do that? Well, you guys live in the UK.
I'd love to see Rami try that.
Here's an idea, Rami. I'm sure you're listening, right? Climb the top of what's the Great Pyramid? Khufu's, you know, the big one they call the Great Pyramid. I think it's Khufu's or Koro.
Okay.
If I were him, I would climb to the very top of that thing in posing trunks and, you know, hit some epic shots on the top of that pyramid with the sun setting or something behind me. Yeah.
Definitely not wearing Ashley Kaltwasser bikini though. Would that be wrong?
I don't think it would fit. No, it would not. Yeah. So okay. Well, that wraps it up. You are doing the commentary along with Lauren Lauder for this show. I think it's bigmanweekendpro.com. Is that the website?
I've got it on if you go to the Big Man Weekend Instagram or IFBB Pro Spain, they've got all the details on there. But yeah, I got really good response from Romania. I was expecting like 1 or 2 dumb comments or, you know, but because I really looked through, I was like, come on, there's got to be somebody that's got something stupid to say. And it wasn't. Everyone was like, you did a great job, you know, because when you're doing it, you're just thinking, I'm just kind of, you're not conscious of of who's really listening. You're just kind of just chatting to the person next to you like you would at a show, you know. So that's the way you've got to approach these. But yeah, we've really enjoyed. We've got really good feedback. So we're looking forward to doing more of these. And it works with Lauren as well, because originally it was just I was bringing her in Alicante just on the female categories, and then when she stayed for a couple of the men's classes, I said no, stay. I said it's good to have this back and forth. So it's worked really well, and I'm very excited to do more.
Yeah, you do an excellent job, Giles. Not just because you do have this eye for physiques. You know, you could be a great judge if you wanted to, but you have this encyclopedic knowledge of, you don't forget placings. I don't know how you do it, man, but you know. I'll drop a name and you'll rattle off. He was 4th at this show, 8th at this show, and some of these shows are going back years and years. But that's important because, you know, when you're commentating on the shows, it shows respect that you've done your research and you know about the competitors. It really does.
I never have any notes, and I don't actually do any research. My research is what I do all year round. So it's just there in that useless part of I've got a brain which is filled. Bursting full of all this, like, kind of outside of all this, it's completely useless knowledge, but I've managed to put it to good use at least.
God bless you. All right, well, that's a wrap, guys. So follow along on the web stream, the webcast, live stream, whatever you guys call it. I don't know, you crazy kids. He's going to do a great job, Giles Thomas and Lauren Lauder, and you're going to hopefully do a little bit of live on the Muscular Development Instagram page or YouTube channel, I would hope.
I'll do one after the judging, and I'll do one after the thing, and I've also took the screen lock off my phone, so it won't be portrait. I was like, why is it doing that? And it was
orientation lock. You got to do the unlock thing. It's a pain in the ass.
It must have accidentally gone on, but also we missed being in the group photo with Jake Wood and Alina, and they'll go, come on, and I was like, I'm doing the bloody live. I was like, because obviously it's live, you can't just stop, you know. So I was like, so we missed that opportunity, but that's the sacrifice we make for the MD viewers.
You took one for Team MD, Giles. I commend you. Thank you so much for doing that. You can just Photoshop yourself into the group picture or something sometime. I've seen it done. Anyway, yeah. So have a great time over in Alicante, Spain. We'll see how it shakes out. This is the second to last show of 2022. We're in 2021, right? 2021. God, the time is just a blur for me these days. So yeah. So the season is almost over. We got one more in Toronto after this, but this is almost the end of a very long, very strong contest season. I don't remember this many shows ever in one season of my life.
What's your favorite show been this year?
New York Pro was good. I think I'd go with New York Pro. It was when Nick Walker won. That place, the roof came off the building.
Did it?
People are going out of their minds for that kid. Yeah, because that was his first win, and it really put him on the map. And you know, a lot of people were saying the Arnold Classic was a good win for him too, but that's where we said, okay, this kid's legit. It's not a flash in the pan. He's not all hype. And the crowd, you know, they loved him. And it was a battle. He had some good competition. But great show.
Also, Global's back next week because Lauren's Lauren's going to South Africa when she gets back from Alicante, but she's changed her flight so she can produce for me and get an episode out.
Good
so we've got a 1 day window where we could film an episode or two, and also when this is going out, what, Thursday
or Friday? I'm not really sure. Today we're recording on a Wednesday. Thursday's Thanksgiving here in the US. I don't think we're putting out any videos on Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to watch them.
We'll also check out the in studio Ashley Kaltwasser Buff Bombshell episode because it's always really cool when you can get somebody physically in the studio. So that was really exciting. So that's going to go out, and obviously, like I said, Global will be back next Wednesday. Right
on. All right. Thank you, Giles Tiger Thomas. Guys, please like the video, share the video, comment on the video. All nice comments, please. Don't hurt my feelings or Giles's. And hit the notification bell so you know when we get new videos. We appreciate your viewership very much. Thanks for watching this preview of the BigMan Pro coming up in Alicante, Spain. We'll see you next time.